Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another exciting event. I'm ecstatic here because I get to have the honor and pleasure of doing this webinar with one of my best friends in this world, Mr. Matthew Newman. How you doing, man?
What's up, everybody? What's up, AT? I'm excited to be here, but more excited to share the information that we have for these folks today.
Excellent. Well, we want to go through this with you, and if you have not heard about virtual co-working, please Google it. They are one of the hottest Black-owned tech companies in the world right now. Already have been in front of sharks at Shark Tank, have been on Fox, on ABC, have been featured and talked about in Forbes, have been all kinds of accolades, and have only been around just a few months. But today we want to talk about how this can benefit you as an influencer. So Imnu, let's take them to the core concept.
Yeah, so the core concept that we're really going to focus on today, as Alan has already emphasized, is that this is a presentation for the influencer. So we really want to help you to understand how you can make $10,000 minimum, $10,000 minimum per month as an influencer with virtual co-working. Stay with us and we'll guide you through this process today for sure.
And I know most of you want to know kind of what the flow is going to be. So wanted to give you the core concept so you know why you're here. So what we'll go into is what virtual co-working is, what the problem is, right? What's the big problem? What's the solution? What virtual co-working offers, kind of where you fit in, and then how you make money. I know that's how you want to see both the product, the stock payout, and yes, I said stock payout, and then how that is actually going to come to fruition through time, and what your network will actually benefit from and how they'll receive. And we're going to tell you more about the founder. So for those of you that don't know, my name is Alan Thornton. I am actually the founder and CEO of Grant Source, and Matthew is a man that doesn't need an introduction, but I'll just tell you, he's a 7-figure entrepreneur. He has worked with some of the largest brands in this world, call it Google, Facebook, Samsung, Aston Martin, Bentley are all his clients. So it's not something that he's new to. He's done it before in other businesses. So tell him a little bit about the problem, Matthew.
Yeah, so before we even get there, I think it's important for each and every person to know exactly what virtual co-working is, because this is a concept. Co-working in itself is a concept that folks are still really getting to know. You hear words or company names such as WeWork. That's what most people relate to when it comes to co-working. We look at Regis, we look at Spaces, we look at all of these phenomenal spaces or companies that have really disrupted the space of co-working. But co-working is essentially when you bring two people together to do work together. That's the most easiest way to explain it. But when the pandemic happened, we'll talk a little bit about that in the problem, and also at the latter part when I'm able to share with you all a slide about my co-founder, is that with the pandemic and quarantine, many companies had to adjust. And so this was a conversation that really started at 9 o'clock at night for about 3 hours with Alan when this idea came to my mind. But we have to come up with a phrase to really help people to understand what virtual co-working is all about. And virtual co-working is essentially if Zoom and LinkedIn had a baby. That phrase in itself is so phenomenal, and I give kudos to my co-founder for coining virtual co-working as such. If Zoom and LinkedIn had a baby, it would be virtual co-working. So we are a virtual community with integrated video conferencing and chat features for real-time global collaboration. What Alan has said is that we embarked upon a problem. And if I was in front of you, I'll ask you to raise a hand to determine who in this room, those watching, have been affected by the pandemic. Whether you work for a company, work for yourself, or you run a small business, I guarantee you that you have been affected, which is why we are here to solve a four-dimensional problem,
So real quick, type in the chat if you have been affected by the pandemic. Just say, I've been affected.
Yep. We can get real with ourselves right away. And I think that's going to be the most important part of solving this problem, is being real with ourselves and admitting that, yes, we've been affected. And I don't know about you, but maybe you are a small business owner and you've been a part of the statistic now where 80% of small businesses have reported that they've been affected by quarantine. Or maybe you're a worker someplace. Though you're an influencer, you can still run a small business. Though you're an influencer, you can still have a 9-to-5. But 67% of folks say they're not comfortable returning. Here's the big piece that many people miss out on, especially in the African-American community or the Black community, is our mental health, which is why 61% of folks during the pandemic have said that they have felt isolated, socially isolated. So we're here to resolve that, or here to solve that problem, to ensure that you, if you're feeling that way, that you are maintaining collaboration and productivity amidst a pandemic while staying healthy. And of course, we know that travel has declined substantially. But here's the solution. This solution.
Real quick, before you get to the solution, and in the problem, in the chat, there's a lot of people that are typing, I've been affected. And no matter what your socioeconomic status on here, we know we have people that are just getting started in business and have gotten a huge following. And then we have people that are celebrities that are, you know, multi 6, 7, 8, 9-figure entrepreneurs. And we hear celebrities are going to get affected, right? It doesn't just pass over. The virus and this pandemic has affected everybody. So this is a huge solution to that problem. Those of you, fun fact, Matthew actually had a celebrity sing at his wedding, one of the top R&B artists in this world. But just had to say that, and we had a conversation with him, and he's been affected, right, by this pandemic. Everybody has. So we have a solution right now for everybody that's on the call.
Yeah. And so the same thing that we're so many of us are used to being in physical spaces, interacting, physical spaces, collaborating, physical spaces, working. We know that the pandemic has put a stop to that for some of us, if not for all of us. And so we have to come up with a solution. Even the owner of a physical co-working space here in Inglewood, California, my business has been affected. And so we had to come up with a solution to ensure, as I mentioned earlier, that we're maintaining collaboration and ensuring that productivity is still at the top of the totem pole. So now we've taken all aspects of the physical and have transferred that to a digital space. We've taken all aspects of the physical and have transferred it to the digital space. And so that's why we have this embedded entrepreneurial community. That's where the LinkedIn type of feel comes in. We said, hey, look, if Zoom and LinkedIn had a baby, it would be virtual co-working. So we have to take that same concept of being able to collaborate, embed that into our website, and to present it to you here on virtual co-working. Anywhere, anytime, 24/7, global access to expert ideas and insights. That's a solution. The places that you used to go, you can no longer go. The people you used to be able to reach out to, you can no longer reach because everyone is dealing with it with their own world. But what if we brought the people to you? What if we put the people into one platform that you still have that same access to? Virtual co-working is that answer. And then something that we're incredibly proud of is an industry-leading affiliate program where we are literally transforming the affiliate program model by being able to offer up to 65% of continuous payout per referral. If you look low, if you look high, we guarantee you that you will not find this type of affiliate program nowhere. I was speaking with one of my coaches yesterday. He says, Matthew, that sounds much like mine. I will give you 30% of every product for a year. For a year. A year is great. But what about a lifetime of a membership? That's what we're offering here with virtual co-working. That's the solution to this problem. So when we talk about what we offer a robust platform for not just the entrepreneur, but for organizations of all types that we'll speak about at the latter part of this presentation. But this member dashboard, being able to truly dive into who's who on the platform, understanding where they are, having direct access to their contact details so that you can co-work. Listen to that. I didn't say reach out, so that you can co-work right away. But number two, what about the video conferencing platforms? Zoom, Cisco's WebEx, Microsoft Teams, Google Hangouts. They've robbed the space. But we now have a response as the world's first Black-owned video conferencing platform. And my friends, if I was in the chat with you right now, I would be typing round of applause. The world's first Black-owned video conferencing platform is right here in virtual co-working. So now you no longer have to use two different platforms. You don't have to use Zoom and LinkedIn. They're combined, and now it's Black-owned. We have member-to-member message.
So, Matthew, let's talk about that real quick, because that is huge, right? When you talk about different tech platforms, and I want to go back to your point number one, the member dashboard. When we think co-working, we usually think you're in Inglewood, right? So I may co-work with somebody in LA, but this platform has no bounds, right? You can co-work with somebody in Africa, right? You can co-work with somebody in New York, in the UK, like it's global co-working, right? And it's never been done before.
No, and here goes is that right now you're not confined to your geographical locale. So as Alan is saying, is that no matter where you are, you have the opportunity to collaborate with folks from all around the world, So those expert ideas and insights that you now have access to, not only as an influencer, but those that you bring onto the platform now have access to that. So member messaging chat.
Being a Black owned, I just type in, give him a round of applause for being, Black owned. Everybody says, so here's the other thing. We're in not only a pandemic, but in the midst of social injustice, which is, it's not that it just happened, it's just being publicized now, right? Just there's phones out now, right? But there's a lot of organizations that say, hey, I want to help Black owned businesses. There's a lot of influencers that say, hey, I want to be a part of something that's Black owned. Well, here's your chance right now, today. So phenomenal what you've been able to accomplish, brother.
Man, we appreciate that. And for everybody who's saying round of applause, we really appreciate you all. And we want this to be, and I believe this is the point of this presentation. Some folks, once they see these numbers, they're gonna be like, well, how are you able to share so much? And we're gonna get into that. But what we do believe, they say it takes a village to raise a child, but I think that it also takes a village to build a business. And if you can identify who those top people are that can help you get to the next level, then we're more than willing to pay at a 65% industry leading affiliate payout if the right person comes along to help us to build a business and to spread this good news. Because now we're playing in the space with major players within the tech space. It is Black owned. So how does that look like, and what does that feel like for anybody else coming onto the platform is number three. I continue to emphasize the value in member-to-member messaging video chat is that, again, I had a guy tell me one time, he says, look, Matthew, I have about 100 people on Telegram. Fantastic, right? But from Telegram, they go to Zoom. But here, if you are in the community in the virtual co-working community, and you want to message somebody, you don't have to leave our community to message them. If you want to video chat with that person, you don't have to leave our community to video chat with that person. It's all done right here in the same community. What's the point of having a community if I don't have all of my resources in the community? What is community if not all the resources are there? Resource library, we're talking about other resources. I don't know about you all, but if I was again in front of you, I'll be saying raise a hand, but please feel free to post it into the chat now. Is that the number of documents that I've had to track down or chase just to run my business, just to onboard a contractor, just to onboard an employee, just to plan a financial, to create a financial analysis, or to plan my finances or my budget or a profit and loss, or to find a tax form in a specific state or municipality. I've searched high and low, have paid attorneys tons of money to do it. So we've taken the most coveted forms, the most coveted documents that any entrepreneur or individual would need to successfully run their business, and we place them inside of the resource library on our virtual co-working website. And you look, y'all, that's free of charge to you, free. So you can come in, take a browse, and pick what you need in order to run your business successfully. We've done the chasing, we've done the tracking, and now we're making that resource available to you for free. And number 5, I already spoke about the value and the importance of this, is of the affiliate program. Look, y'all, what Alan is going to share with y'all here the next 1 to 2 minutes is actually mind-blowing, and as we said, industry leading. So all of the information that we've shared before this point has really set the stage about what virtual co-working really is and why we're so excited about bringing this platform to the masses, not just to our community, but more importantly to our community, but to the masses, because this is something that everyone needs and for sure everyone can afford. So as we begin to move into this specific portion of the presentation of really taking a deep dive and understanding how you can make that $10,000 a month as an influencer on the virtual co-working platform, I want you to ask yourself this question. Ask yourself, where do you fit in? Are you a business owner? Are you a leader of an educational institution? Are you a social influencer? Are you a senior level corporate executive that has a network? Yeah, you may not have a lot of folks on your social platform, but you're well connected. Maybe you're a community leader. I don't know who you are, but I want you to figure out where you fit in. And as you decide where you fit in, determine, as Alan is going through these numbers, determine how you can make that $10,000 per month as an influencer on virtual co-working. Alan, as you can tell, I'm excited about it. I don't know about the viewers, but I think they can tell that I'm excited as well. But I'm going to let you take it away right here of beginning this process of really how do you make $10,000 by introducing this concept of making money first from your own product or service. Alan, the floor is yours.
I appreciate that. So what y'all should do right now is type in the chat if you were excited even before you heard about the money, right? Being a Black owned, being an entrepreneur that's featured on multiple publications and solving a problem that existed for everybody. And not only that, coming up with a viable solution that works. It's a platform. It's working right now, right? It's not an idea. It's in the market. And he's going to tell you in a minute about the huge relaunch where there'll be over 1 million people invited to the platform. But before we do that, I want to tell you about how to make money. And I'll tell you why it's personal for me. So right before Olivia and Matthew had a conversation, he called me. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning, told me about this great idea and what he should do for co-working, and it's virtual, and came up with virtual co-working. And in our business, we help people get money for their mission with grants, and we had a 17-city tour that was planned, right? And we were going to go all across the country. We do our seminar, let people know how they can get money for the mission, educate them, and then we sell our platform. That's what we did. Now, once the pandemic hit, like a lot of entertainers, like a lot of artists, like a lot of performers, right? And I'm an artist too, and it's just a business artist, right? If you don't have the opportunity to get in front of people, you are going to lose revenue, right? And that's where we were. So our product is a lot more expensive than $550 per month, but these numbers have been just broken down to the simple. But you can imagine each ticket that you were supposed to have at whatever that venue was, and everybody has one. Here's a way for you to recoup that revenue and now even get a global audience with whatever your product, your service is. If you're an entertainer, if you have something and you have a makeup line, if you have a cosmetic line, if you have a clothing line, if you do concerts, all of those things can now be brought to a global marketplace without any bounds. So in this example, let's just say your personal product or service, whatever that may be, and we have a lot of different influencers on this call, is only $50 a month, $600 a year. Now, the good thing is, and I'm excited to be one of the first influencers on the platform, whatever you do, you get a highlight and you're on the virtual main stage. So everybody that is in the virtual co-working will be invited to your event. Like I just said, Matthew's going to tell you how 1 million people are going to get invited at this big relaunch. So let's just say out of that, just 100 attendees actually attend per month, whatever your main stage session is. Now, let's say you close at about a 20%, meaning these people are just meeting you for the first time. So 20 clients a month, and you do that every single time. We already established that it's $600 a year, right, for whatever your product or service is. That is, that's $12,000 that you have created that month. If you multiply that, that's $12,000 in recurring revenue. By 12 months, you just made 144 grand for that year. And I know what some of you are saying. My product, just like me, right? My product is a lot more than that, but this is just ancillary, right? You can take it. We're not going to get mad at you if you sell a more expensive product or service because of who you are. But this is just to give you a concrete example without blowing the numbers out of the water. So let's go to the next round. So this is really exciting because picture everybody has seen, I don't know, well, I'm going to assume, and maybe I shouldn't assume, this little company called Zoom, right? Zoom last year, and here's an incredible statistic. Zoom last year had 10% of its following as it does right now. In the last 4 months, Eric Una, you can look this up, the CEO of Zoom, right, who owns a substantial portion, and that substantial portion is only about 20%. His net worth has gone up about $4 billion. Now, you say that's great, Zoom, good for them. I'm proud that a tech company, made it like that. But what if you could have been a part of Zoom and you were part of that very first hit, right? And virtual is huge. That's why they've been on so many publications. What if you could have been one of the influencers, one of the partners that said, hey, this is a great platform. As you can see, it's the real platform, so you don't have to worry about the validity of that. If you could have pushed that out, where would you be? I'll show you, because that moment is right now. There's a bunch of different tiers, and I don't want you to get too lost, so I'm just going to pick the middle tier. As you can see, it is broken down what kind of tier you are based on what type of following you have. So on the low end, if you have 10,000 to 24 across your platforms, you're a tier 7 influencer. Of course, if you have 5 million plus followers, you are a tier 1 follower. So I'm just going to pick the middle, right in the middle, to keep this easy. So let's say you are a tier 4 influencer and you have about 100,000 followers. Now, as you boost this out, and one of the things as an influencer, you're going to want to post at least, once a week, something new, something cool, and it's going to actually help you with advertising as well. But let's say over the course of a whole year, we're talking an entire year, only 5% of your followers convert to actual members. What that means is that's 5,000 new members, right? And we'll show you the pricing, the 5,000, everybody type in the chat if you follow that. 100,000 members, right? Because I'm a tier 4 follower. 5,000 new members, because that's a 5,000, that's a 5% conversion, okay? Type in the chat if you're with me. Excellent. So those 5,000 new members, the average monthly fee is about $35. So 5,000 new members, everybody got how that was, times $35, that is $175,000 in revenue, right? So type in the chat, make sure you follow me, 5,035, you got it, 175. I know some of you are saying go faster, but just want to make sure everybody gets it. So $175,000 in revenue as an influencer, right? Top in the industry. There's nobody that pays more in the industry. You will receive 65% of the revenue. Not virtual co-working will keep 65% of the revenue. They are giving you 65% of the revenue. So out of that $175,000, you're getting $113K out of that in your bank. That's for you, right? The good thing is you do that times, and you divide that just to make it streamlined, times divided by 12 months, you're at $10,000 a month. We've seen all kinds of things where you can make, hey, make this, make that, and all you have to do is this, and sell us your firstborn and give me your arm, a bunch of things that you would probably never do. But this is real, right? This is something that, everybody's in a virtual environment. Everybody knows the educational institution, and another entertainer, another person that could host whatever that event is on that platform, and they could make this really in one event. So that is the second way. So we've talked about, just to recap, your product or service is one way, right? And we gave you that middle The other way is actually just inviting people. And then the third way, which is really exciting. And this is something that has not happened before. So this is just to break it out again. As a tier 4, as you can see, your annual reach, you convert 5,000 people out of your 100,000. Annual revenue that you generate is 175,000. You will actually receive 113,000, and that breaks down to about 9,400 bucks a month. So that just lays it out. But when it comes to the stock payout, here's what's really exciting. And if you Zoom's stock price was almost 30% what it was. I don't know the exact number, but it is blown up. It almost I believe tripled, right? And we can check on that. But the stock price from, if you look at December of 2019 to now, it is astronomical. So we have done the projections. We have mentors. We have economists on our team that have done kind of the projections. And even with conservative projections, we are really poised to blow this thing out. And when I say we, each one of you as influencers, you have the opportunity to be part of the we. You have the opportunity to have stock in this phenomenal Black-owned opportunity, right? And not only have the opportunity to make money, but actually have equity. And that's a whole nother conversation, because I know we're talking about African-American equity and how would we own. This is one of the ways, and it's real, it's authentic, it's actually happening. So if you look at this, and there's a chart at the bottom once you fill out the assessment to see if this is something that you qualify for to be an influencer, but you'll get this chart as well, the stock payout. But as you can see, it goes up substantially with the projected revenue, our company valuation, and then based on the number of shares divided by what the valuation is at that time, that's where you get the projected stock price. But to make it even more simple, let me show what it is for you, because a lot of people say, hey, you get all this, but let me show you how it is for you. At a tier 4, it's very simple, right? As a tier 4, you're getting 100,000 shares. And this program's going to end. I think Matthew and I believe I'll ask him at the end. It's about 50 influencers that they need just to kick it off. And that's where a lot of that million is coming from, getting invited to the platform. But out of tier 4, let's pick the middle. You have 100,000 followers. You're going to get 10,000 shares. Now, where that number comes from, 10,000 shares in the course of 5 years. Matthew, if you could go back one slide. Absolutely. The course of 5 years, if you look at the stock price in 5 years, it's $125, right? So $125, go back, Imnu. $125 times the 10,000 shares, you're looking at a back-end payout of over $1 million for inviting somebody to a platform, like we said, selling your own product or services, right? Making money doing, and then inviting people to a great platform where they can make money as well. Think about if you could have been a part of Zoom, a part of LinkedIn. Well, they had a baby. You can be a part of the child right now. So I'm excited. I'm excited about this. Type in the chat once if you follow, if there's anything that's unclear, and then type in the chat if you're excited. To recap again, you have a new place that's a global marketplace to sell your product or service, where you are showcased by hundreds of thousands of other people where you can sell your product. You are able to invite people to a platform. How many of you during the pandemic said, hey, jump on a Zoom with me, and nobody had been on a Zoom, they had a download? Now you can tell somebody to jump on virtual co-working and get actually paid for it. And number 3, you get a substantial amount of equity in a business that is blowing up. And as all these other influencers invite their network, everybody's stock goes up. So I'm done, Imnu. I mean, if that doesn't light their fire, their wood is wet. You know what I'm saying? Like, exactly. But the good news is that I believe that everyone truly understands the value. First of all, if they didn't understand the value, they wouldn't be here. But what's most important, as I said,
people say that it takes a village to raise a child. It also takes a village to build a business. And building the business is a part of, you want others a part with you as you're continuing to build your business. Because the money that you're making as an influencer is just additional money, supplemental. Or sometimes, hey, you never know, if you blow this thing completely out, then it's going to be your primary source. But this is, again, a platform service that everyone needs. Everyone needs it. Why? Because it is one of the only ways to communicate these days. If you're using Zoom, why not use a Black-owned video conferencing platform? If you're using Skype, if you're using Microsoft Teams, if you're using Cisco's WebEx or Google Hangouts, why not use a Black-owned video conferencing platform? And so there's nothing better than you seeing the value, because again, if you didn't see the value, you wouldn't be here. But if you see the value, then it's your responsibility to go out and share it. And here's a good thing, is that even those you share it with have an opportunity to share it. So this is, again, the slide that we show that how to make money as an affiliate that your referrals can use. Once your referrals sign up for a membership with Virtual Coworking, they too receive an affiliate link. Now their payout is different because they don't have influential status as you would have with us, but at least they're getting paid $30 for every Tycoon membership that they refer.
Wow.
Huge. And that's every single month they're receiving the $30. If you recall the example that I gave with one of my coaches, he says, Matthew, they get 30% every month for a year. But here we are paying $30 every month for the lifetime of the membership.
Wow.
So not only can you as an influencer benefit, but also those that you influence, your network, your referrals can too benefit from our affiliate program. And Alan spoke about it. And as we begin to wrap this up, we don't want to really hype this up. We don't want to put fluff in this by saying, oh, the top 50, and then 5 months later, we do another top 50. We really want to cap this out with the 50th, the top 50 most qualified and influential individuals who not only buy the vision, but want to go out and share that vision with someone else. So we will cap this at the top 50 influencers. Again, the question that I really, really empowered you to think about and determine is, where do you fit in? Where do you fit in? The value is in the more people come, the higher the stock price for you. So yes, financially, it's more advantageous for you to invite more people, but really think about where you fit in. Really think about who you know will come onto the platform to really help us to build this business.
You know what, Matthew, I think it's important to let people know, and so they know it's authentic. I mean, this is a social impact platform as well, right? And that's something you're not new to. So for those of you, I told you that Matthew's a 7-figure entrepreneur. What I didn't tell you is he also has multiple organizations. He also has a foundation that he does, some incredible work with. We've been working for years. He sends bike to underprivileged kids every single year, does a huge bike drive, and he's expanded that to multiple cities across the U.S. He's one of and get this, not only being a 7-figure entrepreneur, he has won the Big Brother of the Year award. So if you know Big Brothers, Big Sisters of the Year, right? And his little brother's doing very well. And I can tell you, in the environment that this young man grew up in, he may have not made it if it wasn't for Matthew. So this is a platform that's also going to save people from the environments that they're in, because it's creating a new one. So yeah. Matthew, if you could just tell people what your vision is for the platform.
Yeah, overall, some of the work has already been done even before the platform was launched. So some of the work, as Alan said, has already been done. But what this platform allows us to do is truly amplify that vision, because it's easy for one who is really involved in community to utilize another platform to amplify their voice. But again, the main mention is that the platform isn't Black owned. So now we have another vehicle to broadcast to the world that they too can do it. So when we talk about racial injustice, when we talk about racial inequities, and again, that's across so many different spectrums. It's not just police brutality. It's not just education. It's just not finance. So this is a vehicle where we can really emphasize to the world the importance of eradicating the stereotypes that they formed against us as Black folks. Because now as a Black community, we're playing within the same space as them. So we can do as exactly what they're doing and better. We too can play into the tech space, right? So the stereotypes that have been formed against us are now eradicated. And so we utilize that platform to amplify our voices, to eradicate or erase social inequities and injustices and social biases, racial biases that have formed in our society. This is the vehicle to do it. And then of course, we have fun with it as well, is that we will broadcast a music festival from our virtual co-working platform next year in Cabo. It's huge. So the opportunities that are there, when we talk about vision, the vision is really transforming physical spaces into digital. If we can't come together for panels, great, we'll do it on the platform and we'll have a global reach. If we can't have music festivals in person, no worries at all. We'll do it on a digital platform and reach the masses. So this platform, again, has helped us and will help us to continue to amplify our efforts, not just within our geographical locale, but to those all around the world. And I'm just truly excited that we have this opportunity to share the opportunity with you, and that you can become or be a part of this opportunity that's really going to revolutionize the minds and the worlds of everyone that takes part.
Phenomenal. And I know there's influencers not only in the entertainment industry, but there's educational influencers on here, right? Many of you have kids. I'm actually holding school upstairs for my little girl, right? Virtually. So there's a lot of different use cases for the platform. All we're asking is for those that truly want to help and truly want to take this to the next level as an influencer. So if you are truly serious about that, fill out the assessment. Like Matthew said, he's going to look at them and go through and find the top ones that really are serious about helping take this to the next level, and invite about 1 million people through those influencers and their top networks, right? If you look at, if one influencer may have a following of, 5 million people. So it's not that hard to get to. When people hear the 1 million, right? To some people, it goes over their head, right, Matthew? So talk about that and talk about the value of the network, and then we're going to wrap up and let them do the assessment.
Yeah, absolutely. So when people think about 1 million, they're like, well, how are you going to invite 1 million people? It takes a village. And so what we do is we currently utilize the vehicle or the networks of others to invite out, right? Most folks say, well, you're going to send 1 million emails out and invite people. We're going to leverage the networks of those who buy and see our vision in order to invite over 1 million people to the platform. And so that's the way to do it. Again, I'll say it for the third time. And folks say it takes a village to raise a child, it takes a village to build a business. And so if we believe wholeheartedly in our vision, which of course we do, as you probably can tell, in our vision, we're going to find some others who buy and see that vision as well. And then from there, we're going to begin to go out and share the good news, if you will, to over 1 million people to take a part of this, not the opportunity of it as an influencer, but take a part in being a part of the world's first Black-owned virtual community and also video conferencing platform.
Excellent. Well, we're eternally grateful for each and every one of you that spent the time with us. Matthew, bravo. Give Matthew an applause one more time. We're going to sign off here. Y'all have a blessed day. Thank you for your time and for your influence. Have a great day.
Peace.